my limited experience, it coincides with yours. I think there's the ability for this to be incredibly empowering for students, particularly, I think, for students who don't really see history as their home, who might go off into other disciplines. And I also think particularly for students who don't regard themselves as being among the academic elite, because they find that they can do this work, they get engaged in this work, and they kind of see the value, as you pointed out, they see the value of what they're doing to a broader community. And I think in many ways, it satisfies exactly the sorts of things that we have tried to teach our students for years in a whole variety of different methods. I don't say that this is the last, this is not the last great frontier. There'll be a new one. Who knows what it'll be? But I really do think this is a very successful way of kind of empowering students and getting them engaged in what we're doing, and maybe getting them slightly more historically conscious, in ways that I think is a pretty significant, social good.
Right. I would add to that, I think that to return to, what we've talked about before about this particular moment in time, I think that one of the advantages of these public projects for students is that they really gain, not only did they gain something out of it, but universities and colleges gain quite a bit out of this as well. At a time when we're trying to justify our existence, when we're forced to justify our existence, it seems obvious to us why we should exist. But what goes on in the life of an institution, in the intellectual life of an institution, there's a lot of misconceptions out there, and to have real and tangible products from what happens in the classroom, I think, is an incredibly powerful counter-argument for us as a profession.
Right. I mean, not to toot my own horn, although I am about to toot my own horn. I had a card from a graduating student last year, to be honest, whose name I barely remembered. She had taken a freshman class from me and gone on to be a psychology major, but she had taken an oral history class with me in her freshman year, and she'd gone out and interviewed folks, and we had put that stuff online and had created digital archives, and she said that she didn't understand at the time what it had done for her, but as she went on through her education, she realized more and more that even though she hadn't actually wanted to do a lot of this stuff, the benefits that she found in a discipline that really has not very much to do with history had been pretty profound. It was actually one of the most rewarding moments I've had. And it was completely serendipitous because I didn't do it deliberately, but it was one of the most rewarding moments that I've had as a teacher. And I was very grateful to her for taking that time to point that out. But I do think that in many cases the benefits of the sorts of things that we're talking about here are actually quite far-reaching in terms of students' lives and their professional abilities.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I think that we see an increasing number of students who come out of these classes who have engaged with digital projects, who go off, and whether it's in graduate school or whether it's in the workforce, find that these tools that we've given them, the skills that we've given them, allow them to be incredibly competitive in the marketplace. And we don't, that's something I think we often shy away from, the notion of, that we all believe that history is important for its own sake, and I'm not saying it's not, but I also think that we'd be remiss if we don't acknowledge that we do want to prepare students to be successful. And it seems to me there's plenty of anecdotal evidence, and increasingly we might actually have data to support this notion that we are preparing students with these